Upper management from a large company asked to tour our homeless mission. I spent about an hour walking a handful of these executives through our ministry before concluding in our learning center. And there we sat to talk a little more about the philosophy behind the practice they had just seen firsthand. During that conversation, I emphasized the importance we place on reciprocity, viewing people as more than just another case in need, but each a unique individual able to contribute something for what he or she needs. Our discussion led me to share Robert Lupton's 5 Steps to Dependency from his book, Toxic Charity. Here they are. If you give something to a person once, he'll appreciate it. If you give it a second time, he'll anticipate you'll do it again. If you give it a third time, he'll develop an expectation. A fourth time, he'll feel entitled. And if you give the same thing a fifth time, he'll likely be dependent on you for it. 5 steps to dependency: appreciation, anticipation, expectation, entitlement, and dependency. I then shared my 5 analogous steps to paternalism that affect the giver no less than the recipient. When a person gives that first time, there's a sense of exhilaration. A second time, a deepening sense of purpose. A third time, the donor begins to feel necessary. And a fourth time, essential. By the time the recipient becomes dependent, the giver has become paternal. Exhilaration, purpose, necessary, essential, and paternal. One of the executives said, "We have that exact problem at our company." I was confused. Their company wasn't a charity, they were an employer. How could they be experiencing this codependent problem common to charities? They reassured me, though, that they had a serious entitlement problem among hundreds of their ground-level employees, and then asked if I would come to share with their management team. A couple of weeks later, I stood before about 50 managers to share my experience and the importance of exchange in the world of charity. Afterward, in the Q&A time, I began to learn more about their company's problems. Employees were showing up late. They weren't prepared for the day, inappropriately dressed, displaying rude behavior. I could sense the exasperation as complaints filled the last few minutes of our time together. Then I asked one question that silenced it all. What are you doing to hold them accountable? The silence and the loss of eye contact answered the question. Nothing. They weren't doing anything to hold them accountable. I responded to their silence by assuring them that their employees were merely responding according to management's expectations. The expectations may have been communicated at hiring, but somewhere along the way, they were lowered. And not expecting a person to do what he's agreed to do only communicates that you really don't believe he can do it. Expectations are a fundamental part of preserving individual dignity and self-worth. A mutual agreement with expectations is essential to individualism because integral to any agreement is a representation of the individual's offer and desire, what he can do for what he wants. And there are fewer things that reflect the distinctiveness of an individual than what he desires and what he can do for what he desires. And to expect less than what one said he can do is an insult to his individuality and dignity. So consider these 3 points as you engage people in poverty today. First, requiring nothing from someone in need communicates you don't believe they have anything to offer. Lowering your expectations of what was agreed upon communicates you didn't believe they could do it in the first place. But reciprocity or exchange with expectations indicates you believe that a person can. Here are a few practical ideas to help you implement healthy and empowering expectations today. Number 1, consider simple chores so some of your clients can experience the dignity of earning what they need. Number 2, consider slowing down charity enough to sit down and at least set a measurable goal or 2 that will help a person move toward a better future. And lastly, collaborate with other nonprofits serving the same people. Communicating information will help ensure you don't march people through those 5 steps to dependency as a city of disconnected churches and charities. Now let's go out there today, fight poverty, and win.